Hello, you! You typically don't hear me talk in here, but let's have a little talk about what you're seeing and what is happening in the background. Hello, I made a big mistake. The big mistake I made is I bought shoes online and I didn't check the size. Those you see right now, by the way, those text, the colors, the paints, excuse me, they are Russian paints from a brand I really like. They make really good acrylic paint, so I bought them. But back to the topic, I made a big mistake because I bought my size and didn't check afterwards. They're too small. I have no shoes that are too small. Right now I'm trying to dye my... how you call that in English? Good question. I don't know, man. Shoe ties? Yes. I dye the tie. Okay. Because I didn't want to buy any normal dye, which would be far too much for anything I'm trying to do. Right now, I show you what I'm using for my it's so loud in the background. The song is not the best song, right? Leaves. Thank you. Ivysaur leaves are made out of an old jeans I had. It's more like trousers in general. I ripped it and now I'm ripping it apart. I used it a lot so far in many things, and I will use it for the leaves and for the tiny leaves that are between the tree stump part and the petal part. I used 3 or 4 coats of normal green color and also the black 2.0 on top to shade and a yellow gradient to make them more lively. By the way, that was the song Teach Me Pokedude, the song version of the Pokénav you get in the Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, where this guy is explaining you how to play the game. Which is always fun, especially if you don't know how to play a Pokemon game. While painting the leaves, I was a bit disappointed that my acrylic paint couldn't cover the color of the trousers. That's why I had to use so many coats. I wanted to have the leaves more floppy. While walking they should flap up and down, but that was something I couldn't achieve when covering them up in like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. Also, I used acrylic paint because I realized that the green in the tube of the paint I bought was not enough. I tried to use it for the skin color, because the skin color was this turquoise, and the turquoise was a perfect match in the package. If you hear me by the way clicking in the background, that is because I'm live recording this while watching it with you. Isn't that fun? It's like basically we're watching together a movie. Only that in this movie I'm just painting some leaves and thinking about why I'm painting some leaves. By the way, if you're kind of curious about if I'm angry that the shoes are not my size, I can say no. They were far too cheap. I kind of suggested... No, not suggested. I was expecting, I was expecting that this would happen. I don't know why I didn't try them on though. I think it's because they came before my vacation, and that took me out of everything, and afterwards I just thought they would be the right size, which they weren't. I mean, I can walk in them, I walked in them, they sit, they fit, but they are too small and not wide enough at the front part, which could be part problem because of the rubber parts. I don't know. I will look what I can do. Maybe I will still wear them, who knows. Maybe I will give them away. But so far I like them as decoration, like my Mimikyu shoes. But the Mimikyu shoes fit and I will definitely wear them. Which brings me to part this is a 3-part series kind of. I also have a black pair of sneaker I want to customize into a glow-in-the-dark version of something, not a Pokemon. If I would have found a black high sneaker, I would kind of make another Pokemon one. I don't know, maybe Subiris. I don't know if this is the English name of the Pokemon. Or Nachtara, which is definitely not the English name of the Pokemon. I can look up. By the way, right now I'm painting on some leaves. On Americans know that shrinky-dinks. We European know that Schrumpffolie is a plastic foil you can draw on, and you put it into the oven and it will shrink. I used polychromos for the outline and the blue and violet thing surrounding that, and for the inside and the shade I used watercolor pencils. The leaves are from a Pokemon attack that is called Sour Blood, if I recall correctly, but I will look that up as well. Sableye is the English name for Subiris. Umbreon was the English name. I remember that. Okay, the attack name is... Right now I'm making some holes and realize I fucked up. So I'm getting my... How do you call that in English? I don't know. I'm making some holes and fuck that up as well. Magical Leaf or Magic Leaf. It's an attack that is... Ivysaur is only able to learn... it's not naturally learnable. It's something about eggs and whatever. I don't really care. It's just... I love the attack. It's really colorful. And... I'm not a Pokemon expert. Those times are long gone. I stopped really caring after the remake of Sapphire and Omega Ruby, which was the biggest disappointment in my life. But let's not talk about Pokemon. The thing I'm doing right now is I'm putting in some jumpers to prevent the holes from shrinking, or better to say, to prevent that I can't put the rings in. Sadly, one of those things will break in the oven and then I have to make another one. I'm now searching for pearlescent color 1250 and 70 if I remember correctly, because those are the pearlescent color variation of the blue and purple surroundings of the attack. Right now you see one of the things broke and I destroyed it completely, which means I'm eagerly searching for another scrap piece. I have to draw on again and put it back in the oven. By the way, I also filmed the part in the oven. It will come right after that. The pencils with the white part on the tip are the watercolor pencils, and the more round one, shiny one, are the polychromos. I try to make a variation between the colors, sizes and holes to have different looks. Like, it's not everything is the same and you can variate whatever you want. Those are, by the way, things I will put on the tie? Is that a tie? No, I will look that up now. This is a word I was going to say a little more often. It's really interesting. You always learn something new. Shoelaces! I knew the word. Okay, shoelaces, yes. Those are the things I put on the shoelaces so they can move freely, besides the green viney parts, because it will simulate the attack. One thing I did not realize is that the pearl color could be a bit too opaque, but who cares? It's acrylic. The foil is acrylic-like, so you can see the normal leaf at the back side, and that is the thing you have to look if you want to see the leaf. It's not important that it's not really visible under the pearl color. Also, one thing I learned is, as it seems like you can draw with watercolor on those and the foil and still make it shrink, which is something I will try in the future, as so far I was a bit scared that the heat will affect something. I know definitely acrylics or oils are not possible because of the way the paint is drying. Watercolors seem like a good idea because they're more like dyes, pigments that are reactivatable. You can't react again. This is, by the way, the inside of my oven. It seems a bit weird because there's only one light working right now. I didn't speed that part up because it's really satisfying. I mean, I speed it up a bit, but it's really satisfying to look at that. Oh, I love it. I also bought some loops for earrings, so I can create some earrings with those shrinkies. I love it. Oh, if you don't know, before I started this channel, I still have another channel, but I also made some jewelry, like charms, necklaces, and made this specifically out of Pokemon cards. Excuse me, that was my mobile phone. Out of Pokemon cards, the thing I'm now painting over. By the way, there will be some Pokemon cards coming up. Not soon, but in some weeks. I prepared them, and let's see if they work as well as the magic cards. So, what you're now seeing is 16 times speed up because I couldn't do more. My PC was not handling that. Of the back side of the leaves, where I realized that putting acrylics on paper is not always a good idea. By the way, if you're interested, I did this whole thing in one day. The only part I did on the day before were the leaves, the cutting out of the leaves, and the putting the shoelaces into the paint part. This is, by the way, the black bottles, by the way, the black 2.0, which is the second blackest black on the market. I mean, buyable black. Now I'm starting to paint the shoes, and I also start to realize that it is not enough color for both boots, both sides. Boots. Did I say boots? No, I said boots, right? And I try to water down that. But that means kind of there's an effect I do not like. It's basically if you paint with watercolors and you use too much paint and it's granulating around the water puddle. This is also happening here. I only realized after it dried, so I thought about what to do because I didn't want to paint over and over to mask it because it will probably happen again and they don't want to waste paint. It's like, it's something every artist knows, or better to say every person that is painting knows. You have an art supply you use, but you don't want to use it up. It's a really weird thinking because it was expensive, or you bought it and you would have to wait for another one to arrive because it is not in stores and you don't want to use it up because of that. That thought was also here in my mind, so I jumped over to acrylics and tried to replicate a reptile skin, which we will see in like 10 minutes. By the way, if you want to know what the origin story is about this Ivysaur shoe is, originally I wanted to buy one high sneaker and two low sneaker, one black, one white, and they didn't have it in store, so I looked online and didn't find any. But then on the Discord server that is called, the Art Bowl, I had a discussion after posting my Mimikyu shoes with Noopsy, which is also on the Discord. Hi, if you're seeing that. If not, don't worry, I'm not mad. That she would love to see a Bulbasaur one, but I thought, why Bulbasaur? Why not do something more 3D? There is one version of Evolution that has this open pedal thing, but I thought Venusaur was too expressive, so I took Ivysaur. It is more in between. I like more in between. So I thought a lot about it, searched online, found those shoes, didn't check the size again after receiving them. And now I have Ivysaur shoes. Yay! They were also the only one that had the colored tips, and I kind of liked the color. It's a minty green that is good for the whole green aesthetic in general. So this looks really strange, but it is the leaf part that is going to on top of the palm tree part. There is a small gap between the lower leaves and the petals and the leaf line. That is a palm tree that you can see in the Venusaur evolution better, but the Ivysaur also have it. So I tried to replicate that. Yeah. Now I realize that, oh my god, this is not working. It's a bit splotchy. I can change it though, because I don't want to waste the whole color on the shoes. Also, you see a syringe rolling around. That is my water syringe I used to put water or color or ink or whatever. Right now I mixed the wrong green because it should be blue. And you will see a lot of change in that. This will not stay. Right now you see the splotchiness of the turquoise in the background of the skin color, which is, you see the streaks, you see where I put too much water and not enough paint, and I wouldn't like to walk around in that. So I changed that up later. One thing I want also to mention is it's really bad to paint something near rubber. I didn't mask the rubber parts of the shoe, and afterwards it was really hard to get rid of the color. I couldn't get rid of every part, but you mostly don't see it anymore. It's stupid. I have masking tape. I don't know why I didn't do it. So now I'm mixing the skin color and realizing, oh my god, I'm not capable of doing that. Because it's hard to mix turquoise. I even looked up the ratio. But then I thought, why? Why would I care? Because what skin is perfect? So at first I tried to rub it in and that looked bad, so now I'm stippling it on different shades, different greens, different blues, and I tried to make a gradient. It does not work for the first shoe, the second really is really better, I really like that. And I think it gives it a bit more realistic, while like the movie Detective Pikachu is right now, a bit more realistic. We're back to the crazy parts. Also, I like the more creepy look of it. Thinking about it being probably clean, slick shoe. No, that is boring. I like something that is more weird. It's the best way to say. Also, probably I used up almost all my green in that process of doing all that. Which is bad, because green is my favorite color. If you want to buy cheap acrylic paints that are really, really good and you live in the European area, Maribou. Maribou is a German company that makes amazing acrylic. I use the matte acrylics from them. They also have a matte. This is the semi-matte, there's also a matte version and a high gloss version. I can highly recommend Maribou products in general. Not only because they're from Germany, but they are often a good quality for a good price. I don't know about the brush pens or the inks they have now, but the acrylic and poster paints are always a good investment. I used them since I was a child, and basically opening up the Russian paints reminded me of the poster paints from Maribou. Now I'm cutting off some frizzles, some strains that got loose from the cloths, the trousers that look really weird. There are some I have to get rid of afterwards, but so far I think it's working. This is now a gradient I do because I realize now with the itty gritty part I need to have a real good itty gritty part on every other object on the goddamn shoe, which is a task. Whew. Also this one. There are so many of those semi spaces I used to paint brown in my Mimikyu shoes, and I thought green would be a better color for this shoe. And yeah, it's hard to do that and stay in between the lines, but in the end it doesn't matter. It's acrylic paint. You paint just paint over it. In the end, it doesn't matter. In this case, I thought I will change something up and didn't paint everything green like I kind of planned to do. In the end, I fixed that. This is the tree stump, palm tree stump thing I was talking about, and I started to realize that I drew the line wrong and kind of eyeballed it in the end, which is why one shoe has a smaller tree than the other, but it doesn't matter. Important is that it looks itty gritty, really dark and bad and absolutely not realistic like I tried to, but the black is not reacting to color like a normal black, so I kind of did it a bit too dark in the end. but it doesn't matter. It's still a good tree stump. So now is the part where I mix the petals, the color. It's just a simple pink and red combination. A shiny, intensive color. Luckily I had this pinkish red already, so I didn't need to mix anything specific. And now's the point you can really see what you're trying to achieve, because now you see that it is going to be a Pokemon. Before that it was just like something freckled, and I love the moment you realize that that something is going to be kind of the way you want it. It's the same like the Mimikyu shoes. I hated them so much, but in the end, after finishing them, I'm like, oh my god, they're so gorgeous. And if I'm being honest, or if I can be honest, I think this will be my go-to place now. I have a really big problem with finding shoes that I like. So why not make them yourself? They're unique. You can make as many as you want. You have a dress that is red, okay. Make it a Glurak one? I don't know. Or whatever. You don't even need to make it a Pokemon. What about a Mario shoe, for example? It's just a boring example, but just imagine the possibilities in an Animal Crossing shoe. I'm so hyped about the idea, being capable of doing your stuff for, like, this is the future. I'm sorry, but I'm so ecstatic. I'm so ecstatic about this whole situation, because I'm a self-made person. I love, I mean, self-made is the wrong word. Let's say DIY. I'm a DIY person. If I can make something myself, I try to do it myself. I love that. I love experimenting with stuff. I love, if something is expensive, okay, can I make it myself? I do it myself. Maybe I like it even more because I made it myself. I see the way how it changed from nothing to that amazing thing that it is now. And now I get more confidence in doing that. I can buy not those cheap ones, China, sneaker, whatever, a bit more expensive shoes that are fitting better, that have a better quality, that I can customize a bit better, that are in general a bit higher quality. And to that I really needed to experiment at first, and there's still this one shoe I want to experiment, like I said, the glow-in-the-dark DIY thing. That is because I love glow-in-the-dark, and this thing, if this works, this will be amazing, and nobody ever is going to stop me from doing that over and over again. I love glow-in-the-dark stuff. I found perfect powder on Amazon that is so intense, and I want to use it up. I need to use it up. If I don't, I feel bad. By the way, I try to avoid coloring those metal parts. It's not really working. In the end, I needed a toothpick to clean that up, but it doesn't matter. If it looked like that, it looks like that. You don't even see it. It's too tiny. Now I'm shading the petals. I tried on top, to see this line there. I tried to make it look like there are more than one petal, and on the side I thought the shadows would be a bit more interesting because itty bitty gritty. So yeah, that is so many green. I still have the palette beside me and it's still wet. And I did that yesterday. Ugh. I decided to color the tongue a bit darker blue, turquoise thing, because I wanted to not let it take away from the real color on the shoe. To be honest, right now, if you see it like that, it is okay. you can wear it, no accessories and stuff like that. But my plan is something different. I want to be seen. No, don't really. I don't know if I would ever wear them, to be honest. I wore them walking outside, but this was 5 minutes and I don't know. Also, I don't think I would sell them or stuff like that. I would sell something like that because the problem is I primed them. I didn't prime them. I fixed them with 2 different kinds of sprays. One is shoe spray that is against dirt and water, and the other one is my normal fixative I use to save my paintings from water, and what I use to fix glitter on my paintings, which is a really good fixative. It holds everything in place, which I also will use to fix the powder on a glow-in-the-dark shoe, which will be interesting what I can use to do that. Now I'm gluing on the leaves, and as it turns out, it's really hard to glue with the right glue, and in the end I switched to super glue, which I used in a craft my home I did, and it's a good super glue. It holds very well, and so far the leaves didn't fall off, which doesn't say anything because I didn't walk a lot with them, but I tugged a lot at the leaves while trying to get out of the shoes because they're quite narrow at the top. I don't know. I have to check what is the best. Now I'm fixing up the rings, which are full of rat, and that is not good. While the green stuff is drying. And then I realize that it's not going to hold. And I switched to the real glue. The glue that hopefully makes it all stay a bit longer. The thing is, I forgot to fix it on this part. I wanted to fix it after I cleaned the rings, and I forgot that. I don't think it's important because it's acrylic, and the paint in general is not water soluble. It will not reactivate. I checked which side of the leaf is the most beautiful and put that upwards, and then glued it on. It did not hold for long, but some were okay. I should have just started with the super glue, to be honest. Now I have one leaf that has a white residue from the Uhu glue. You see how it works out, and I'm now going to say goodbye. I painted over some of the things. You will now see the look around, and I hope you had fun. Follow me if you want, subscribe, whatever. I have a Discord server for streams. I'm streaming, yes. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed what you see. I'm doing that more often, even though the video is a bit quite long. Please write down if you watched it all. I don't think so you did, but I appreciate that you do it, if you did it. Thank you very much.